To understand this law is you need to read definition. Okay. The key to understanding any type of law or anything, you need to go to the section of definitions in that law to understand it. Don't get this and read that definition, because that definition don't mean it's going to be the same thing, right? Always go to the people. I got people who want to do paperwork for people who call themselves law gurus, and they're using dictionaries to determine what that law is saying. Every law has a glossary, either in the beginning or the end, that say, okay, the term person means this. So that's how you interpret anything. So in this law, it's telling you all the players. So Bureau means the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection. That's who's going to protect your interests when it comes to third-party debts. Term communication means the conveying of information regarding a debt directly or indirectly to any person through any medium. So whether it be mail, phone call, they walk up to you, letters, that's communication. Term consumer means any natural person obligated or allegedly obligated to pay any debt. You notice they said natural person? Pertaining to someone that is alive. But if you go to other laws that say person, means a corporate, trust, or natural person, right? So the definition is going to be different. So the term creditor means any person who offers or extends credit, creating a debt, or to whom a debt is owed. But, but such term does not include any person to the extent, you notice they're using person, right? And here it said natural person, but over here it says person. To the extent that he receives an assignment or transfer of debt in default solely for the purpose of facilitating collection of such debt for another. So once the debt goes into default, that person is not, and they collecting on it, someone else, they're not a creditor. And that's key. Right? So if the letter's in default, they become a debt collector. The term debt means any obligation or alleged obligation or consumed to of a consumer to pay money arising out of the transaction in which the money, property, insurance, or service which are subject of the transaction are primarily for personal, family, or household purposes, whether or not such obligation has been reduced to a judgment. The term debt collector means any person who uses any instrumentality of interstate commerce or the mails in any business, the principal purpose of which the collection of any debts, or who regularly collects or attempts to collect directly or indirectly debts owed or due or asserted to be owed or due another, notwithstanding the exclusion provided by clause F of the last sentence of the paragraph. The term includes any creditor who, in the process of collecting his own debts, uses any name other than his own, which would indicate that a third person is collecting or attempting to collect such debts. Very important sentence here. The term includes any creditor. So they could be a creditor, but if the process of collecting his own debt, he used a name, any name. So, for instance, you got a mortgage with Wells Fargo, right? But they got another department called EMC Mortgage that collects on bad debts. EMC Mortgage is what? The other name. He's a debt collector, and he gets treated as such. Another debt collector, and you've seen it if you've ever been sued, and they always put it on the notice, is lawyers. That's another notorious debt collector. They suing you, Jamie and Howe, attorneys at law, suing you to come in. But if you notice the lawsuit, it always says this is a debt, and they're a debt collector. They have to follow these rules. So guess what? So if you're getting sued by an attorney, the first thing you need to be hitting them with is a third-party debt collector. Doesn't mean it stops the lawsuit, but you letting him know that he's a third-party debt collector, and you putting him in his place, prove that I owe you money. And they always say, well, I'm representing such and such. And then it goes back to what I said earlier. Right? you coming in as an attorney, Your Honor, Akeem Baba owes me such and such, and objection. What are you? He's speaking as if he know me. He's a stranger to me. I don't know this guy. He's sending me these letters asking me for money. He comes out of nowhere. Well, what he's representing the bank. Well, can he bring somebody here with firsthand knowledge from the bank? Where's the bank? Shut down. Doesn't move past that. The reason why people is you should be doing a motion. I see you. Motion to dismiss under Rule 12, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 12. They got Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, but each state mimics that same procedure. State Rules of Civil Procedure. Rule 12, motion to dismiss for lack of evidence. Okay? Motion to dismiss. If it's in all caps, motion to dismiss, failure to join the proper party. You know, you go read those, read 12, I'll pull them up. Federal Rules, Civil Procedure. Rule 12. These are all defenses. Whenever you get into a case, always start with a motion to dismiss. Do not go and answer the complaint, because now you have put yourself in jurisdiction. Once you say, I deny, because people were teaching this, when they come at you, say, I deny that, you just answered the complaint. You just started the argument. Now you got to prove why you don't owe this money. But if I do a motion to dismiss, the rules say, I'm not answering. I'm saying motion to dismiss because there's no merits for the case to move forward. So now, not only did I start the clock over for me to even answer him, I gave him more work to do. I did a motion to dismiss earlier part of this year. I went to court. Lawyer didn't even show up to court. He didn't come to. I still had to go through my routine and speak. I got the recording. It's on my. I played it on the show. If y'all listen to my show, I'll play it this Tuesday coming. But when I was in court, and I did a motion to dismiss out the gate. You know why? Because they had my name wrong. Hey, this ain't me. She looked at the ID. You right. It ain't, we didn't identify the proper. Law is precise. So if the proper styling ain't right, they got it in all caps, that's not me. This is me. This is what my mama named me under God. And this is the only name I will accept. They can't stop me. But here it is, Rule 12. In general, unless another time is specified the rule, federal statute, the time for serving a responsive pleading is as follows. This is a rule. A motion to dismiss is a responsive pleading. And it tells you how to do all this, right? I'm not going to read all that. Y'all can read that for yourself. Lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction is when the matter is not related to you. It's not for that court. Like, you got me in state court when I need to be in federal court, right? And there's other examples of that. Lack of personal jurisdiction. Oh, my name's wrong. That's personal jurisdiction. It doesn't apply to me. That's how I got that case dismissed. Improper venue. That's when it's in the wrong court, right? Insufficient process. So if my name's wrong and you served it on the all caps, is process sufficient? Right. Insufficient service of process. Same thing. If my name is wrong and you served it on the wrong individual, is that service of process proper? These are all ways to get cases dismissed without having to go through the whole long drawn-out drama, right? Failure to state a claim upon which relief be granted, and failure to join the party under Rule 19. I did this one, and the judge gave me. I actually did all of them. See, I go crazy. All these are the reasons why I'm saying dismiss. And it was only one. It wasn't a long document. It was 1 or 2 pages, right? And I just said these. But she gave me these and that. Because the name was wrong. So you joined the party that's not here. The real party you need to have here wasn't served. Boom, case dismissed. Yeah. Right. Typically, they won't. They'll try to recontract with you. And every time, usually about third time, you have to just keep rebutting it. The key to anything you get is denying it as soon as you can. When a debt comes in the mail, the debt collector sends you something in the mail, you have 30 days, because they say, if you don't answer me in 30 days, we're going to assume it's right. And then they're going to escalate. But if you answer them in 30 days, they're gone. There's only one company that like lawsuits, like to lose money, and that's Portfolio Recovery. You're going to have to take them suckers to court. Portfolio Recovery. But you'll win every time you go to court because they don't go to court. Which as soon as you put your lawsuit in, the lawyer going to call you how much you want. They're going to write you a check. So all y'all got money on y'all credit reports. You just sue them. Get them to court. Because I'm going to show you how you can take them to court. Well, under what thing? Okay. Right here. Under Section 84, you had a question? Somebody had a question that I overlooked. Go ahead. A lawyer is always a third party debt collector. Well, okay, they represent the creditor. Remember, the lawyer is coming in with information. Who did you sign the loan with? Who was there when you signed the loan? No, name them. Name them. I want you to see this visually. Okay. Let's just say you took a loan out with this company here, right? And you sat down with a representative from the bank. Not really, because when you do a house, only people there are lawyers and your agent who sold you the house. You ever bought a house before? You ever been to a closing? So who was there at the closing? Right? So your agent who sold you the house wasn't even there, right? Right. Do you know the rules say that a bank representative is supposed to be there? Someone from the bank, not a lawyer, someone who represents the bank interest need to be there for it to be a valid contract. So all mortgages is not valid because the bank representative is never in the room. So if I'm signing a contract with you and I sign a contract, if I'm not there, how can it be a contract? Right? Akeem Barber and what's your name again? Tawanya, right? Akeem Barber and Tawanya got a contract. You coming to the table and I'm over here somewhere, playing golf or playing basketball. But I send someone else, a lawyer, to sign for me, right? That's still not legit. Not legit. Because I need to be sitting right there next to the lawyer, just like if I was in a courtroom. A lawyer sits next to the person he's representing, right? So if I'm not there to give the lawyer the okay, although he may have power of attorney, I'm still supposed to be there. With mortgages, the rules say bank's supposed to be there, you supposed to be there, and whoever is representing those two interests. Because you have to get you a closing attorney, right? And they have their closing attorney. But the bank's never there. Yes, it's written. It'd be taking me a minute to pull it up. But it's there. For a contract to be any contract, so all mortgages is bogus on its face. They're all invalid. But don't go trying to stop paying. Don't do like other people are doing. I know somebody fighting 11 foreclosures because they know that that's the truth. The reason why it will never work, because it's against national security. If all mortgages are fraud, all of them, every last one of them. But if they let one person get away with it, then they got to let everybody get away with it. This country mortgage situation will collapse because all mortgages is backed into mutual funds, and they trade them. So if I unwrap one in that mutual fund, all of them get unwrapped. They're not going to let that happen. Even a judge years ago, there's a case that a lot of people who try to beat their mortgage, they used this case that the judge agreed. right? Guess what happened to the judge? He got removed. All of a sudden, he ended up dead. Okay? So, I think it was Colorado. Yeah. Yeah. It was, actually, that was '08, but it was even longer than that, like in the 1970s. And these people use these cases to try to win their mortgage cases all the time, but they never read the whole thing. Because the appellate court came and overturned that case and said the judge didn't have the authority to do that. And you know them judges was paid to do that, to overturn it. But the only authorities you can use in any case is an appellate case. If it goes to the appellate division and they decide it, you can use that decision to support your cause. But these people are using a case that was overturned by the appellate court. That's why you got to read everything. When people send me stuff, look at this, they did this. And almost all the time, it's never the way they say it is. When I read it and I go compare notes, I said, this ain't what they say it is. That's why you can't listen to hearsay. Don't even listen to me. Go look it up and read it yourself, okay? Assume I'm lying. Please, prove me wrong. All right, what was I? Yeah, okay. Any debt collector communicating with any person other than the consumer for the purpose of acquiring location information about the consumer shall identify himself, state that he is confirming or correcting location information concerning the consumer, and only if expressly requested, identify his employer. Not state that such consumer owes any debt, not communicate with any such person more than once unless requested to do so by such person unless debt collector reasonably believes that the earlier response of such person is erroneous or incomplete and that such person now has correct or complete location information. Not communicate by postcard. Not using any language or symbol on an envelope or in the contents of any communication affected by the mails or telegram that indicates that the debt collector is in the debt collection business or that the communication relates to the collection of a debt, and after the debt collector knows the consumer is represented by an attorney with regard to subject debt and has knowledge of and can readily ascertain such attorney's name and address. So these are all the communications, what they can do when they're looking for location. Now this is important right here. Communication with the consumer generally. Without prior consent of the consumer given directly, I'm gonna read that again. Without the prior consent of the consumer given directly to the collector or the express permission of a court of competent jurisdiction, a debt collector may not communicate with the consumer in connection with the collection of any debt. So when you get a letter in the mail about a debt, did you ever give them a permission to send you that mail? There's your lawsuit. Right there. This says, I don't care what that contract says. This says, without the prior consent of the consumer given directly, meaning you need to call up the debt collector and say, hey, you can send me this letter saying I owe some money. But if you ain't did that, so that first initial letter is a violation of this. Right? Now, when people read this, they say 1, 2, 3, they get confused and think, well, they can communicate with this. But it says, that first line is telling, without prior consent of the consumer given directly to the debt collector or express permission of a court, meaning a court order, they cannot communicate with you at all. So the very first letter, you should be putting this in there. I didn't give you permission to communicate with me. Don't contact me again. And then you could actually take them to court because they just violated that. And the reason why they're going to pay you, because it costs too much to fight that stuff in court, because they got to hire lawyers. Oh, you want $1,000, $2,000? They'll settle with you. They'll give you that money. So it don't cost you nothing to start a lawsuit unless you hire a lawyer, and why would you do that?
Peace. What's up? It's Tuesday, February the 11th. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been working hard all day. So I'm a little beat. I'm a little tired. So I said I'm still gonna do a show and give you guys some value. Where did these come from? Wow. Why's that dog barking? But I hope y'all was listening to the debt collector rules. While I was listening to that, I wanted to go over Federal Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 12. Because this is where I believe a lot of people get confused, they fall short, they get sued, they really don't know how to move. I've done this many times over the last 10 years talking about this, but I never, it's always relevant because people are getting sued every day, you know? So, but before I do that, there is a seminar in New York, March 1st and 2nd. There's a link in the Telegram chat. I sent the email out. If you're not on my email list, go and get on it, and you should be able to get it. Hope to see you there. So, Rule 12. Let's talk about that real quick. And Rule 12 is defenses and objections. When and how presented, motion for judgment on the pleadings, consolidating motions, waiving defenses, pretrial hearing. So it says A, time to serve a responsive pleading. In general, unless another time is specified by this rule or federal statute, the time for serving a responsive pleading is as follows. A defendant must serve an answer. 1, within 21 days after being served with the summons and complaint. And take note that it says in general, unless another time is specified by this rule or a federal statute, the time of serving responsible pleading is as follows: 21 days after being served with the summons and complaint. But in state, it's 30 days. State court, you'll see 30 days. And the complaint will say that. It'll say you have 30 days to answer in most cases. That's the rule. In any type of suit, 30 days. And you'll know that because the local rules will tell you. That's why it says an otherwise specified by rule or federal statute. Now, these are federal rules of civil procedure, but states typically mimic the federal rules. You go to the state rules of civil procedure, they're identical in most cases. 99% of the time, it will be identical to what I'm showing you here. If it has timely waived service under Rule 4D within 60 days after request for a waiver was sent, or within 90 days after it was sent to defendant outside any judicial district of the United States. A party must serve an answer to a counterclaim or cross-claim within 20 days, 21 days after being served with the pleading that states the counterclaim or cross-claim. So, say you get sued by a debt collector and you want a counterclaim. So they give you 21 days to do that. State jurisdiction is usually 30. So like if I get sued by a debt collector, I'm going to do a counterclaim of at least $1,000 because that's what the statute allow for this community, because that is a communication to get a debt from you that is not owed to them. They're a debt collector. Right? Now, understand this. In some jurisdiction, when you do a counterclaim, they will charge you a fee for that counterclaim lawsuit that you put in, even though there's already a case. It's not creating a new case. They charge $150 in some places. I say $150 because that's what I experienced. So United States and its agency officers or employees sued in official capacity, United States or United States agency or United States officer or employee sued only in an official capacity must serve an answer to a complaint, counterclaim, or cross claim within 60 days after service on the United States attorney. So they get 60 days. That's interesting. So let's skip all the way down to number 4. Effective emotion. Unless the court sets a different time, serving a motion under this rule alters these periods as follows. If the court denies the motion or postpones its disposition until trial, the response to pleading must be served within 14 days after notice of the court's action. Or if the court grants a motion for a more definite statement, the response to pleading must be served within 14 days after the more definite statement is served. All right. So as you go back and forth with your pleadings, like if you send a motion to dismiss, they respond back, the time shortens to half to make your responses. How to present defenses. Every defense to a claim for relief in any pleading must be asserted in the response to pleading if one is required, but a party may assert the following defenses by motion. Lack of subject matter jurisdiction. So that would be, let's say, motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction. I've seen over the years people saying, I motion to dismiss, but never state or assert a defense. You got to say why. I've even made that mistake. Oh, I just wanted to dismiss. But I never explained to the judge why I wanted it to dismiss. You got to explain, okay, here's the reason why I wanted to dismiss, judge, because this person that the subject matter is not for this court. Okay? The person is asking this claim, let's just give let's see how I could use something that can give you an example. They're suing for um trying to give you a good example with the subject matter. The subject matter has to be related to the case, not something else that has nothing to do with the case, right? Lack of personal jurisdiction. You're not the party that they should have been suing. Or in the complaint, like what happened to me, the name was spelled wrong. It didn't identify me definitively. Okay. Improper venue, meaning we're in the wrong court. It might be a family court matter, but you're in civil court for something, you know? Insufficient process, wasn't served properly according to the rules. Insufficient service of process, meaning it wasn't served at all. Or like when you serve someone, you have to do what you call the affidavit of service, saying how it was served. So I have a complaint, but I go and serve the person myself. You can't do that. You have to have a third party. In some situations, they will allow you to certify mail it to someone with a return receipt card, and that's enough. Some places will want you to serve by way of the sheriff or some other third party service company. Failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. Usually, number 6 goes with the other defenses, right? So they didn't serve you properly. And because of that, the claim is void, meaning so now the claim is, you can't hear the other part of the claim. So relief can't be granted because of the insufficiencies that are to the other defenses. Like in a third party debt collector case, they're saying you owe them money, but yet they don't have a witness that has firsthand knowledge. They're making a claim, but relief cannot be granted because there is no one there with firsthand knowledge that can substantiate this claim. Failure to join a party. In some states' rules, it'll say failure to join an indispensable party. So they're suing you, but at the same time, somebody else was part of that contract. They're not suing them. So failure to join an indispensable party. Join a party. So those are just some examples. Because, and then it says a motion asserting any of these defenses must be made before a pleading if a response to pleading is allowed. If a pleading sets out a claim for relief that does not require response to pleading, an opposing party may assert at trial any defense to that claim. No defense or objection is waived by joining it with one or more other defenses and objections in response to pleading or in a motion. Motion for judgment on the pleas. After the pleadings are closed, but early enough not to delay trial, a party may move for judgment on the pleading. So you move for a motion to dismiss. They don't answer, so you will move for what you call it. You will move the court is for default a judgment on the pleadings. Yeah, you have a pleading there. No one's made a ruling on it, so you have to ask the court to make a judgment on that pleading. You see, they got so many motion to strike. The court may strike from pleading an insufficient defense or in redundant, immaterial. I suggest you study all of these. And that Dr. Graves class, he goes over all of this in detail. Very good. I think that course still costs $250. All right. There you have it on Rule 12 of Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. What am I looking for here? Who's out there? We got a few people out there listening. Hey, how do y'all like this whole Doge Department of what is that? Th- That agency that Trump through Elon Musk is using to discover all of these unusual and overspending by the government. As usual, the Democrats are upset about it. They don't like it. Why? Because y'all have to understand these bills that they create, like say the bill is for, when we had the pandemic, right? And they had the bill to give out these loans to help people who were struggling, right? Help businesses, PPP loans, EIDL loans. But in those bills, they have a bunch of other government spending initiatives in them that they don't talk about. All the media does is talk about the main thing to distract you, that they got stuff in there that if you read them, you're like, well, why are we spending money on this? Like I was reading something, they were housing illegal immigrants in luxury hotels at the tune of, let's see if I can find that. At the tune of $59 million. Approximately 59 million too much in only a single week. That's what FEMA paid to. Let's read it. It says, what business do luxury hotels, illegal immigrants, and a federal emergency management agency have with one another? Approximately 59 million too much in only a single week, according to the Department of Government Efficiency. But that turns out to be only one string in a Taylor Bazaar it would make. P.T. Barnum Blush. The Doge team just discovered that FEMA spent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal immigrants or illegal migrants. Doge chief Elon Musk announced on Monday sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief, and instead of being spent on high-end hotels, instead is being spent on high-end hotels for illegals. A clawback demand will be made today to recoup those funds. Man, those hotels is ooh, 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 ooh. They're gonna be feeling it. So you give these luxury hotels 59 millions, and that's if they were actually housing these migrants. How that's a payday. 59 million in 1 week to house people that are not legally supposed to be here. That's crazy. Acting FEMA Director Cameron Hamilton responded speedily. I want to thank the Doge team for making me aware of this. Effective yesterday, these payments have all been suspended from FEMA. Personnel will be held accountable. Hamilton previously worked at the Department of Homeland Security as Director of Emergency Medical Services, but most recently headed an executive nonprofit critical of the Biden administration's emergency response. So all of those hotels that was about to get that payday is probably like, man, we just blew it. Think about that. Just think. There's a lot of programs that's crying right now because they stopping the gravy train. And I also heard somewhere else. I don't know if it's a fact, but I heard it, and I'll just mention it. It probably is a fact that public housing starting in 2026, you can only stay in public housing for 2 years. Then you got to get out and get your own place. And I think I believe if they were to go through with that and enforce that, in the beginning, it's going to hurt the people that are living in those places, right? Because what do they do generally in those public housing situations? They just pass that's it becomes air property basically. Public housing becomes air property. The grandmama lived there with her children, and then the mama, then it just gets passed down. Long as somebody from the family is still living there, and they stay in these places for decades, die in these places. And let me speak on that. This is what happened when we got government assistance. Instead of us valuing our own property ownership, having our own land, a lot of our people relied on public assistance and having cheap rent as a way of passing down places to live. It's not theirs, and the conditions is usually not suitable for healthy living, but this is what we have resorted to passing down and find ways to scheme in every which way not to let it go because it's cheap. See, this is what a broke mentality will do to you. It will help you make deranged decisions. It'll make you fight to hold on to being broke. You go to I know in New York, I know it all too well. In New York, public housing, if you go to the typical apartment, the people that live there are relatives of the person who originally got the apartment probably 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yes. Why do they do that? Because it's cheap. See how that the poverty mindset work, and then these people want to get out of. I remember years ago. about pre-COVID, and I was coaching. I was did a seminar, and this young lady was looking. She wanted to do better for herself, right? And she was living in a rent-controlled, government paid for apartment. And of course, in a place like that is always some drama going on. And she was complaining about this. Oh, I want this. I want to do all of this. I want to live better. She wanted to make more money. She wanted to live better in the apartment she was living in. And I said it plainly. I said, there's no way you're going to have any headway in having any prosperity in that apartment. You have to get out and get into something where you pay for it like everybody else. There's no assistance coming in. If you really want to prosper, because the energy that you're surrounded by is all poverty mindsets, all people that are thinking about the cheapest way to live or not paying the regular amount like children. They don't want to pay all of the bills. They want the government to foot part of the bill. So with that energy, number one, you're gonna have the drama your boys are gonna go through. They're gonna be fighting and all of that because in those neighborhoods, typically, there's always some type of competition among the boys and who's better than that, and they're fighting and carrying on, and all amongst all the other things that go on in those environments. Hakeem, how can you say be so harsh about it? Yes, I can be harsh because I know Edenwald projects. I used to live in those projects as a toddler. My grandmother lived in those projects. She got that apartment, then she passed it on to my aunts after she died, and they lived there for many years after until they lost it. So my aunt lost it because she wouldn't pay the bills. Something happened. The little bit of rent she had to pay, she didn't pay it. God bless the dead. She passed. But you understand? I mean, your rent. There's people with rent that are literally not even $100, and they won't pay that. See the mindset. So I'm telling this young lady, you can't expect prosperity in a situation like that. You got to go out there and be around the environment of prosperity, be around the mindset of prosperity. And she cussed me out. She got upset. Oh, it's acting like you better. I said, it's not about being better than anybody. You're trying to live better. Is this environment helping you live better? No, but this did it. See, you can't see people they say they want a better situation. They say. But when it come time to buck it up and hey, I gotta make this bread to pay my way and circulate my money into prosperity, they're not gonna do it. Why? Because their mindset is stuck on the cheap. I want it cheap. I don't want to pay my bills like every adult out there paying the regular rates for rent and for their bills. They want the shortcut. And with the shortcuts comes the limitations. So when you live in situations like that, you will find every which way to stay in that box, that prison of poverty. And because your mind is stuck there, you will never prosper. You will never have money. You have to leave it. Prosperity in the Bible only came to people who left one environment and put themselves in an environment where there was wealth. And that brings to mind the story of Joseph, how his brothers became envious and threw him in a pit, came back and told the story that he got eaten up by a wild animal. Then he ended up in the presence of a king and he became second in command. See, it was about the presence. He was in jail, but he did something. He set himself apart from the other prisoners by having putting forth the kingdom of God first, and then he became second in command because of where he was. From prison to second in command, just by a change in scenery. No, he could never prosper in prison, but he made the best of it. He was there by no fault of his own. He was lied on. But because he remained faithful and he showed himself different, he didn't participate in the environment. Then he was removed from it. He didn't get the wealth in the prison. He got the wealth after he was removed from there. Yes, you find yourself in these situations because maybe you were born and you raised up in the projects. I started out in the projects, Edenwald Projects. That's where I started. Then my parents moved from the Bronx to Brooklyn into a tenement. It wasn't like a rent control place, but it was a lot of we like a project, like a step up from it. And then from there, my father got tired of that, and we moved into a house where my family was the only family that lived in the house. See, change of environment. Now imagine if my father just decided to stay in those types of conditions and he didn't want anything better for his family. Who knows how I would have turned out? And prior to all of that, my mother and father they were very young. My mother was 17 when she had me. 17. That's how they did it back then. My father was 20, right? But how they leveled up is they changed their environment. My mother didn't want to live in Edenwald Barges. My grandfather was retiring from the transit system and he was moving to Arizona. He said, "Hey, I got this apartment. Come live here." And so she took over his apartment, or we did as a family. So we left that environment, which was Edenwald Projects, and it was a very bad project. It was bad then, and as I got older, it got worse. I don't know what it's like now. But I still know people that still live in that projects. And when they lived in that projects, they were teenagers when I was there. Or almost teenagers. They was young. And they still lived there. And I'm 55. So imagine over 50 years in that environment, and then you want to know why you ain't doing better? You have to change your environment if you want to do better. If that environment that you're in right now ain't good and it ain't producing prosperity and peace in your life, you have to change. Some of y'all are in relationships right now that y'all know y'all need to be leaving alone, walk away. Too much water under the bridge, too much things that's gone on that is never going to get you to trust or be comfortable in the presence of that person. I mean, any problem can be worked out, but some things just got to be left alone. It's unfortunate, but it's a lesson. So 2 years, they only got 2 years to get off that government titty. That's gonna hurt a lot of people, and they all gonna cry. Oh, we all go. Oh, woe is me. Oh, listen. If you could scheme, if you could manipulate and make that happen where you can get all this free assistance, you could do it the other way too. So people are so clever on how to stay broke. But if they could take that same energy and be clever on how to be prosperous, they could do very well. You know? Yeah, like I said, cuss me out because I said simply, and it's not like I went and offered this advice. They came and asked me, "What can I do? I want to do better." I said, first of all, if you want to really do better, you got to take your boys out of this environment because they're going to be fighting. They're going to be going to school, getting in trouble. This is not the neighborhood to raise healthy, productive boys. You got to get them out of there. Might want to go find their daddy and pull them, put them, y'all be together in the same area somehow. Raise them boys together. They need a man in their life. We got offended. Was upset. Thought I was being uppity. Well, you call me what you want. You call me uppity, but I don't want to live in those environments. Why? I know what it's like. I know what's there. I've been there. And I'm glad I'm out, like Reverend Ike would say. All right? I've been down that road. I've been down that road of the drug dealings and all. I've been down that road too. See, a lot of people, because you know how I am. I don't have the appearance of someone who's broke any laws, anything. Yeah, I came from a. Once my parents moved to Brooklyn, they were practicing Jehovah's Witness. I came from a healthy, working class family, and I still ended up out there. Because guess what? Know how I ended up out there? Because I left home, changed my environment, went into an environment. Guess where I went? Back to Eden War projects. And that's what I found myself doing. You see how environment makes a difference in what you do. I came from a home where I was knocking on doors, preaching to people, reading the Bible, doing all that, upstanding. No trouble up until then. Then I decided I got tired of the Jehovah's Witness life. I got tired of my parents' rules. And I left and went right back to where I started from and ended up in that situation in my teenage years. Caught a charge, too. Caught a charge. All you brothers that I be helping that got these drug charges, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I caught a charge. Lucky for me, I just passed that age where they could charge you as an adult. It was first youthful offender, did probation. I did listen, I know I've been down here. I've been facing charges. I've been facing many years. I faced it. But how did I can't blame nobody else but myself because I changed my environment from that home where I was under protection of God and went into an environment where there was no protection from God. No, actually, there was protection, but God had to let me go through some things in order for me to wake up. Lucky for me, I never received any time. It just always seemed to work out for me. That's how I know that everyone has a call, everyone has a person, but you got to not be hard headed and realize that when the opportunity comes, walk away. And when the opportunity came for me to walk away from that lifestyle, I took it. Because I saw all the brothers around me dropping, either they were getting killed or they were going to jail. And I was like, is this where I'm headed? And I just dropped it right in the mid, not dropped it after I was broke. I dropped it right in the midst of making a lot of money. I just dropped it and went and got me a job paying $3.35 an hour. And that's how I ended up at the World Trade Center. I could tell this story 100 times and it don't get old. Yeah, I tell it because it reminds me of where I could be right now. But it's all about environment, where you place yourself, who you be around. This is why I talk about this. It was my cousin that introduced me to the drug dealing lifestyle. And it also was my cousin was my worst enemy out there. My family, who's supposed to look out for me, was my worst enemy to the point he now my cousin had it in his mind that because I wasn't raised up in the streets, I wasn't in that gang banging life, I wasn't part of that, I was Joe's witness, he had it in his mind that I was just weak. So he was used to try to roll up and bully on me, and we call it stunting is the word we call it back. He used to front on me. That's how we called it back then in the 80s. He fronting. But it didn't work out the way he thought it would. But not to get deep into that story, that's how I'm knowledgeable, and I also emphasize that sometimes your family is what's holding you back. Family can be the greatest enemy to your success. Friends could be the greatest enemy to yourself. You just got to size them up. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not the friends that come up that straight up hate on you. It's the friends that come with the smile. Hey, man, what you doing? Man, let's go hang out at the club. Let's go do this. Let's go get drunk. Let's go get high. Let's go have some fun, man. That's the one. It's not the one that that be giving you problems. It's the one that always want to do something entertaining that has nothing to do with making money or have any conversation about upbuilding and creating some type of wealth in your life. Those are the worst ones because it's fun being with them. We always have a good time, man. We boys, we got it. But they the dangerous ones. Those the ones you need to be running from. Conversations that are not upbuilding and not getting you anywhere, those are the ones that need you to be running from. Because those are the distractions. See, the devil, this guy this guy, if I wish I could pull this poem up, this guy broke it down. The devil can't get you if he came as the devil. He comes as the alcohol. He comes as that smoke. He comes as that woman or that man. He comes as that fun time. He comes in a way, in the disguise of something that you're going to enjoy. And it's always coming at a time when you're trying to level up and stay focused. When you decide to get up every morning and work out. When you decide to get up every morning and pray. When you decide that things has got to be different, then guess what? The phone rings. Hey girl, they got this man, you know what's going on this work? It's the crab leg festival. You know our sisters love their crab legs. It's the crab leg festival, man. They gonna have unlimited crab legs. It's gonna be, oh man, what you gonna do? And you already know you had planned to work on your business. And what did you do? No, I can put it off. I'm gonna go to this and have me some fun. And then you never get back to it. Are y'all hearing me? The devil never comes looking like the devil. He comes looking like that good-looking woman, that good-looking man, that that party. Something that looks good, all packaged and beautiful. That's how he comes. This is my tired talk. This is when I tired, I do. That's how he comes. I thank God he gave me the strength to even say these things tonight, because I would, like my body was like, yo, shut it down. But you can't go without doing a show. You can't do it. Wake up. See the devil for who he is. Because the devil ain't nothing but that oppositional thinking in your head that you try to justify not getting up and doing it now for your progress. That's the devil. That's the real devil right there. That reasoning when you try to reason out being lazy or procrastinating. It's about, oh, oh, you're talking about the thing. They need to give the public time to read them 6,000 page bills before they pass them. Yeah, they got 6,000 bills in there because they got all that money laundering schemes in there. That's all it is. The government is one of the biggest money laundering cartels on the planet. Let's call it what it is, okay? And all they doing is shaking that up. They're using those to just filter out unnecessary departments and expenditures. That's how I'm understanding it. Please correct if I'm wrong, misunderstanding it, brother. No, that's how it is. Um, they know people would read it, but they don't give enough time to do it. Most people work and don't have time to sit down and read that much. See, that's why it's listen, if you want to convolute the story, you put it in a lot of pages and words. You bury it. See, the truth is shortened to the point. Lies are filled, volumes of it. That's how they got people to believe that black folks were not the original people here on this land. Through many guys writing textbooks about the situation, racist people writing textbooks about who the Indian was and all of that in the schools. The public school system is nothing but a propaganda mill. That's it. Indoctrination, indoctrination, propaganda, and propaganda. That's what it's for. And it's so good at what it does because you still see people knowing that the education system is trash. Oh, my son, he got this degree. Look, I'm proud. He got this. What did he really accomplish? Got a degree and now what? I don't know if y'all noticed, but the job market, getting good jobs now is just trash right now. They ain't talking about that. That's why creating your own is the way to go. Y'all better get on here and get some of this YouTube, Twitter, Instagram money. Man, TikTok, you can get on there and just advertise. Hey, you cooking pots, right? Regular people are selling those Dutch oven pots. They don't make them. They didn't produce them, but they get money for getting on TikTok and showing off the product. Hey, this product does this and that. Everybody got something in their house. Listen, man, stop. The one thing that will stop people from doing something like that because they worry about how people think of them or look at them. Y'all better stop caring about what people think of you. Because that's what's slowing y'all down. Y'all care, oh, if I get on there and I don't look this, I don't say this right, I don't do this right. All this nonsense in your head because you worrying about what people think about you. So because you worried about what people think of you, you're going to stop that from you from making money. Stop it. A lot of things you worrying about, people ain't thinking about. Trust me. They won't even catch it. You catching it because you sitting there critiquing yourself. Get your ass on there and get some of that money. There's no reason why you shouldn't be making extra money. Stop it. It's 2025. All that nice talk that I was doing back in 24, 23, it's over with now. I'm not accepting BS excuses. Don't come at me talking about because of this, because of that. You're going to hear it. Patting people on the hand for making excuses for keeping themselves broke. Come on, man. There's so much money out here. What y'all waiting on? Get out, get it. Yes, it's going to take time to make the money. It is. But if you work at something and you have the vision in everything comes from your mind. Your situation not working right now came from your mind because in somewhere in your consciousness, you had a fear of it not working and you got exactly what you feared. Accept that. Accept that truth. Accept that reality. And now once you accept it, you can change it. Once you accept it, you can change it. Man, my family on my mom's side stayed in them apartments. They still don't never have no money except for parties and the Christmas. They stopped asking me for money because All I give was advice to better themselves. And that's the truth. Ain't that the truth? The people that live in the places have the most lavish gifts when it come to Christmas, and they be having parties. My aunt and them used to every Friday crank up the music and play music loud as they can, blaring out their apartment. I'm gonna call it what it is. Let's just call it out. When people live in those situations, they are bottom feeding. And when they can't have that situation that they incur, they look for another bottom feeding. So they don't know anything else. Yes, I have compassion for them because they don't believe that they can do better. This is all they know. This is all they want. And their greatest fear is not having it. I remember my aunt used to always complain about face to face, face to face, face to face, face to face. Every time she came, face to face, face to face, face to face, face to face is the welfare place that decides whether you're gonna stay on it or not. And then I realized face to face play those games. They know that they know that they gonna give you them benefits and they're gonna keep you on it, but they gotta make you want it by taking it away from you from time to time, so you can fight for it. Think about that. Think about it. Sad. She went to her grave living that lifestyle, never becoming a full grown adult. Yeah, if that happens and they shut that down, a lot of people gonna suffer, but they're only gonna suffer because they want to suffer. That's what the lifestyle they chose. And you're gonna have the humanitarian people, the misguided humanitarian people. Oh, we gotta do this. Listen, nothing good from nothing. All of those handouts lead to more people not wanting to really, because you put a person in a situation where they got to sink or swim, they gonna work it out. Then they have made them income based rent, so most of them don't want no job because the rent $35 a month. Shaking my head. That's true. They don't want to make any more money than that because if the income go up, they got to pay more. See that? See that? See the line of reasoning? They make it easy to settle so you don't feel the need to rise or even want to attain something greater for yourself. Absolutely. And Levita says, peace. Your time is appreciated, brother. Know that. Thank you. I know you're full of historical information. Would love to see do a video going in on it. Oh yeah. I've been thinking about doing that. Going on a history? Shoot. I'll give y'all some history right now. I'll share something with y'all real quick. Here's my own thing. Google Chrome. Is that showing? Why is it showing black on my end? They don't want y'all to see this, huh? Hey, I'm trying to share the screen and show you these pictures. Oh, I know what the problem is. This new feature. I don't know how to fix this. Doesn't work well. Let's see if this will do it. I know what the problem is. Let me put my camera back on. This new feature that Apple got. Let me pull this up. Pull this over here. All right, so hopefully it'll work this time. Why is it looking like that? Ah, there we go. These are all your ancestors right here. That, why is that? I don't want it big like that. Let's do this. These are your ancestors here. Trying to shrink this page down. I don't know why I did this. Well, as you can see, these are all dark people of Native American descent on Pinterest. These are a bunch of pictures. I have some of these stored on my hard drive. Oh, you know what? That I'm gonna have to do that on the next show. Well, it's 8:39. Hey, hang on. Somebody sent me something. Somebody sent me something. I'm gonna do it now. Let me see if I can. Somebody sent me something in my email. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. I have to thank this person for this. This is a really good. This is a real gem. Since somebody want to talk about history, let me just find the email. Let's find it first. Am I in the inbox or let's go here? There it is. Oh, that's Jubilee. I don't need that. I don't need that thing about Jubilee. It's not just now. Proclamation of Jubilee. It's a document, a declaration by the Latter Day Saints talking about who um the Indians were. Now I'm trying to. I know I saved it to my computer. You know what? I know what it is. I'm looking in the wrong place. I always back up and send stuff to myself just in case I forget where I put it. So it's in. Let's get it. Get it. Get it. Where are you? Right there. You mean tell me I ain't send that to myself? I'm looking for this. It's not that. I know I sent it to myself. Let me do a find on this. Okay, let's go to documents. Da, da, da. That's 7 days. Let's see. Let's see. That was January. That's last year. Man, I know I sent it to myself in an email. I apologize. Okay, let's check something else. All right. You know what? While I'm on that, trying to find this that was January 7th. I want to show y'all this. This book here. This book here is at the Internet Archive. Now, the thing about this book is they got a lot of the pages blocked out. This book has all of the last names and what tribe that they go with. So look at this book carefully. See how they cut out. They only give you a few pages that you can look at, and I can't even borrow it. Usually, you can borrow these books because this has all of the names, your last names, and show you what tribe you originally belonged to. It's called The Hidden Ancestral Identity of the Black American. And I look for this book. It's hard to find, and it's expensive when you try to find it. So, but I'm still trying to look for this other document that I wanted to read to you, part of it at least. And I saved it in this very specific place, but it's not there. And it's a document showing how the Church of Latter-day Saints were talking about the original people here and how they came here to make them Christians. And someone sent this to me by way of an email that I right now, for some reason, can't locate it. But I'm gonna try to locate this. I'm gonna try to get this before, and I know I had put a star on it so I could find it later. Mm-mm. Try to take my time. All right. 25. Mm-mm. I guess I'm gonna have to save it for another show because I cannot find this. I know I texted it to myself, emailed it to myself, I saved it. Let me look at one other place. And if I don't get it, then we're gonna have to do it another time. Well, let's see downloads. I can show y'all this though. It's a little bit not exactly what I wanted to show you, but let's see. Let's go to this. What do I want to see? No, that's not what I want to show. Where is it? This new feature. I hope y'all can see that. this here is Negro land. Well, there's a place on here that says Negro land. If you go over here, this is supposedly where they took all the slaves and moved them around. But look at it what it says. Kingdom of Judah. Right there, under where it says slave coast. Kingdom of Judah, which is more proof that black folks are from the tribe of Judah. Yep. I just want to find this doc that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm trying to figure out what the heck did I do with it. Okay, let's try this way. Oh, okay. Maybe it's here. I might be able to find it now. Nope, I'm not having any. I gotta find it in my see if it's in my iCloud drive. I got so much stuff on here. Oh, that's 2025. I need 30 days. Maybe it's 7 days. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find it. I'll be here all day. I'll find it. Watch. As soon as I get off, I'll find it. I was just reading it, and check one other place. Sometimes I send stuff to other people, let them read it, but I guess nope. All right, I apologize, Joe. It'll be next Tuesday's show. We'll talk about it on next Tuesday's show. Golf for America, that is not right. Hundreds of years of history. It said Gulf for Americans. They didn't actually change it though officially. They trying to change history again. It ain't gonna work this time. Man, I'm really disturbed that I can't show y'all this document. Let me see. What if it's in my PDF stuff? Let's see. Recent file. View all recent files. It might be a PDF. MS 50. There it is. I found it. I found it. Yeah. Let's open this baby up. Let's make it bigger too. All right. Now, all I got to do is share this screen. Let me move it over here. I found it. It was right there in my PDFs. Y'all going to love this one. I'm only going to go to the part that I wanted you to notice, and then we'll read it next week, okay? Now let's share the screen. I hope this now where did it go? Share Adobe. There you go. So this is the historian's office. It's official Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a proclamation of the 12 apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to all the kings of the world, to the president of the United States of America, to the governors of several states, and to the rulers and people of all nations. Know ye that the kingdom of God has come, as has been predicted by ancient prophets and prayed for all in all his ages, even that kingdom which shall fill the whole earth and shall stand forever. The great Elohim, Jehovah, has been pleased once more to speak from the heavens and also to commune with man upon the earth by means of open visions and by the ministry of holy messengers. But I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip some stuff. And we're going to go to this second page. Hope I'm getting it. I hope it don't. This thing is jumping around. I don't like what it's doing right now. That's not the page I want to go. Right here. I think it's this page. When I try to scroll, it's cutting off the page. So let's shrink it. Hey, I'm trying to get to that page that I want. If you look right at the bottom of this page, right at the bottom, it says, we also bear testimony that the Indians, so called of the North and South America, are a remnant of the tribes of Israel, as is now made manifest by the discovery of revelation of their ancient oracles and records. Thank you to the person who sent it to me. I need to find an email because I want to give a proper shout out to them for sending this to me. But next week, we'll continue that. We'll continue this discussion next week. All right. I hope y'all got that. It's not a link. Somebody sent it to me in a PDF. It says they're the remnants, North and South America. See, these people know who you are. They know who we are. And this is why they spend so much time trying to keep you from knowing who you are. Because you got a special entitlement to this land. And if you have a special entitlement to this land, that means they don't have a special entitlement to this land. And that's why they spend time trying to keep you from knowing it. All right, with that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everybody. Y'all have a good rest of your night. So you got a money rejection complex. And this is why it's tough for you to make money, because you believe that it's something wrong with thinking about money a lot. What you think about is what you will become. If you want more money, you need to think about more money, having it already. I'm in abundance. I have it all. You have to have that consciousness about yourself. I mean, the proof is there. People who think about not having money are in poor conditions. They live poor because they simply believe in poverty. They're not believing in it like, hey, I love my poverty. No, they believe in it in ways by saying, I'm broke. I don't have a lot. I wasn't born with a lot of money. My family don't come for a lot of money. We don't have it like the other people got it. See, they speak to their poverty, whereas the wealthy speak to their wealth. You know, today I'm thinking about going and investing in this. I'm going to buy some property. Oh, what's going on with this company? You think that's a good idea for me to invest in that? They're having these conversations. I heard something that made total sense to me.